Good afternoon, Talo Falava. This is the third week that we've carried out this session following the meeting of Cabinet to give a few highlights of decisions made, events and happenings in the government. At the end of last week, we held a ceremony to formally begin a major project on the improvement of our wharf at Mataafa to improve the infrastructure and also to provide buildings to service mostly our customs. The other major part of this project is also to increase the area for containers, and this is a measure of the growing supply of goods coming into our country. This is a major project with different elements, and we hope that it will be completed in all its phases by 2024. One of the major works that has been undertaken and will continue is our West Coast Road going towards the airport. This is a major transport area, especially between Apia, the airport, and of course the wharf in Mulifanua. This is also the most heavily populated part of our country, so the roading infrastructure is very important. This has been a project that has been ongoing for a number of years now, with the target of reaching the Faleolo airport and of course further to our wharf. The river wall for the Vaccination River has been a project that was started probably 5 years ago now as part of our adaptation to climate change. We are onto the second phase of the river wall, and we hope that this project, which is being funded by the Global Green Fund, will be completed as expected for the protection especially of the town area and the surrounding of the Vaccination River. We have two appointments to our government services. Our chairman of the Public Service Commission, Mr. Aiono Mosesua, resigned earlier this month, and we have now appointed Mrs. Lawano Vausa Epa, who has been serving as a commissioner to the Public Service Commission, to move into the position of chair of Public Service Commission for the remaining part of her 3-year contract, which will conclude in April next year. The Public Service Commission, of course, serves a very significant and important part in the workings of government, and we are pleased that we can have the continuity of leadership in the Public Service Commission through this appointment of Lawano to the chair of the Public Service Commission. Mr. Mulipola Lose Hazelman, who has been the CEO for our dialysis unit, has been reappointed for another 3-year contract. This is a very important service for the country, and the Minister of Health has brought the paper to confirm the appointment of Mr. Hazelman, and it has been confirmed by Cabinet. Whilst I'm on health issues, I would like to give a brief update of our vaccine coverage for Samoa. The target that we have set for the vaccine coverage is 130,000 of the 200,000 population. This is the eligible population, which does not include at the moment those 18 and younger, and pregnant and nursing mothers. It is our intent when the Pfizer vaccine is available that this vaccine can then be rolled out for our younger population. So to date, we have reached 67% of the eligible population who have had their first shot. This is 81,672. And for the second shot, we've reached 27% at 33,667. So as I indicated last week, the Health Ministry has begun a door-to-door rollout of the COVID-19 vaccinations. This is a practice that we undertook with the measles epidemic and had a very good impact. So we are hoping that the population will take up this new rollout by our health ministry to ensure that we can reach our target as set for our coverage of the COVID-19. No doubt you will have heard that New Zealand, with the discovery of a new community-based COVID case, has moved into level 4. And with that decision by New Zealand, we have also consulted with our New York committee, with Cabinet today, and we have come to a decision that we should defer all flights to Samoa for this period of time until the situation in New Zealand is further clarified. I think that we can all agree that this is the best protection for us to ensure that our borders are kept safe. It is unfortunate because the next flight, which would have been Thursday next week, would have brought in between 200 and 300 passengers. And I know that this will be a disappointment to families who are wanting to return, and also families who have been awaiting keenly for their members to return to Samoa. But this is a decision that has been taken by Cabinet today, and I feel confident that this is the right decision to ensure the safety of our country. So I think lastly, I think I had spoken 2 weeks ago when I first started this program that Samoa and New Zealand were beginning to hold discussions on a possible travel bubble, and especially of travel from Samoa to New Zealand, and quarantine travel at that. So the two main groups that are now under discussion for that opportunity are our health cases going to New Zealand for treatment, and the second group is the RSE workers. Although the situation in New Zealand now may delay the possibility of implementing any arrangement that can come through these negotiations. But we feel that the negotiations can still continue, and when our borders are clear and the situation in New Zealand is safe, then I feel confident that we can move forward on that travel opportunity between our two countries. I just want to say briefly in English the response to the issue on the budget. I think it was raised earlier in the week that there was some statements that we were having problems and we didn't know how to develop a budget. And I understand that the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Mulipola, had made a response to the effect that her problem was not so much developing a budget, but that her chief advisor, the CEO for Treasury, is in a very conflicted situation, being the son of the leader of the H.R.P.P party. Now, I just want to clarify the issue on our capacities to develop a budget. And supposedly that we had asked the New Zealand government for assistance to develop our budget. So I just want to make clear that what we raised with the New Zealand government, and specifically the Minister of Finance, Mr. Robertson, was to have a discussion around transition budgets, especially when there is a change of government and a change of administration. How do you utilize the budget to ensure significant changes in policy as per party manifestos? So that was the specific question that we put to the Minister of Finance of New Zealand, because we knew that the Labour government, when they came in 2 elections ago, the National Party had been in office for 3 terms, so that's 9 years. So when the Labour came in, this was one of their key priorities, was to how do they use the budget to ensure that their policies are put in place. Now, we are a new administration. We've come into government after H.R.P.P has been in government in a straight line since 1988. So it is a very pertinent question. And, you know, of course, we can sort it out and work it through. But when you know that other people have had experience, have developed methodologies and ways of work in how you transition from one administration to another and changing significantly policy basis and so forth, why not go to the source and ask, you know, what has been their experience and share, you know, and get the benefit of their experience. And especially the modelling that they might have done. The minister very quickly understood what the issues were. He was very clear on their approach, and he admitted that it took them their first term, you know, to get into a methodology that could ensure that their policies could be implemented through the budget allocations and processes. So we weren't asking for help per se to develop the budget. I'm very confident that my Minister of Finance and her Associate Minister, you know, are both finance people. They know how to develop budgets. They know how to read budgets. But as a new administration, and wanting to see how we can begin, although, you know, we have a shortened budget period because we took over government late, But we do want to make sure that we can utilize the budget for the current financial year 21-22 to begin implementing the manifesto of the FAST Party.
Honourable, the leader of the opposition party claims that they have not been officially informed of one Parliament.
Well, there is a problem supposedly with the opposition party. First of all, none of them have been sworn in. So I'm not quite sure what their status is. And when we're ready to have Parliament, we will make the announcements. But then the announcements usually go out to recognise members of Parliament. And as of now, all those MPs with the H.R.P.P, they have no status.
Making claims saying that he refuses to be sworn in by the Speaker of the House. He wants to be sworn in by the Head of State. Can you, what's going to happen to the unsworn?
Well, first of all, the swearing in of the 24th of May has been validated by the decision of the courts. So the convening of Parliament, has happened, and the swearing in process that took place has been validated as well. So the normal practice is it is the Speaker who is sworn in by the Head of State. Then it is the Speaker who swears in members of Parliament. So as of now, it is the prerogative of the Speaker to swear in members of Parliament. So, if members of Parliament who have not been sworn in wish to be sworn in, they should really go see the Speaker.